This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. This is a sponsored message. Recently, I started using Anchor as my podcast host. Anchor offers benefits that most other hosts do not. It's free to use, but it also has a collection of tools that allow you to create a podcast completely within the Anchor website or smartphone app. They distribute your show to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other distribution channels without any additional effort on your part. And you can make money from your podcast without any minimum audience size. So you can use it as a more traditional podcast host like I do, but it's also got everything you need to start a podcast from scratch in one place. If you're keen to give it a shot, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's Thursday, April 14th, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From the New York Times, Russia-Ukraine war summary. Comments from Russian President Putin suggest that peace talks with Ukraine have reached a dead end. Finland is set to begin discussions that may lead to their joining NATO. President Putin's 2 daughters, who are suspected of holding wealth for their father, have been sanctioned. The U.S. is preparing about $800 million in new military aid to Ukraine, on top of the $2.4 billion it has provided so far, and Vital Group, the world's largest independent oil trader, has announced it will stop trading oil originating in Russia by the end of 2022. Ukrainian officials have said that they managed to prevent a planned Russian cyber attack against their electrical grid, detecting the malware inserted in their systems before it could trigger and knock homes and businesses into blackout conditions. From BBC News, South Africa's President Ramaphosa has visited and pledged help to the eastern province of KwaZulu-Natal in the wake of substantial floods that have killed more than 250 people. Many of those deaths have been attributed to mudslides and the collapse of buildings and roads, and some analysts are blaming bad drainage infrastructure and low-lying houses for the high death count. But local officials are saying the infrastructure is fine, and the scale of the flooding, which by many accounts is unprecedented in the area, is to blame. And from the Associated Press, New York subway shooting suspect arrested on mass transit violence charge. A 62-year-old man who allegedly set off smoke bombs and fired a semi-automatic handgun into a crowded New York City subway car was taken into custody yesterday. At least 23 people were injured in the shooting, 10 of them from gunfire, and the rest from smoke inhalation, shrapnel, and the frantic rush to leave the smoke-filled subway car. The man who was arrested, Frank James, apparently has quite a few prior arrests on his record and an online presence filled with bigoted messaging and media, but there still isn't a clear motive for why he did what he allegedly did, and the attack isn't being treated as terrorism at this point, according to officials. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.